So today we're going to be taking a look at the Be Quiet Dark Bass 901. This is going to be the white version. I'm going to tell you basically the top things that I like about it right away and how this case is different than others on the market. First, this of course is going to be the white version. They also make a black version, but the white version, obviously you're going to see less cases like that. So that's going to be the first thing that you do have available to you is the different color. Just to get that out of the way immediately, it looks really cool in white, and obviously it opens up a lot of build possibilities. And this is also going to point to the second thing that's important to know about this case. It is a really big case. It's not small. It's more like the old school style large cases. So if you're looking to build a mini ITX or a micro PC, this is certainly not the case for you. But on the other end of the spectrum, you can fit anything you want into this case. So for the person that would want to have a case this big, this is definitely going to be ideal. They even have slots for the traditional 3.5-inch hard drives, for example. You can do a lot of liquid cooling here. You can have radiator support on the top, on the front. A few years ago, I did a build in the predecessor to this case, the Dark Bass 900, and I did, a 420 millimeter radiator, 360 millimeter radiator. I even put a 240 radiator in the basement of the case. I filled it up a lot with water cooling, and that was the older version. This new version, and that's going to be the third thing, aside from the size that is really important to know, it has a tremendous amount of airflow. Now, Be Quiet, design these cases for silence. The previous version, like the 900, was going to have, a lot more closed off panels, and you do have that option here too if you want to have these closed off panels. And of course, even the, like the side panel has some foam there, some sound deadening foam, so that way it helps with the acoustics. It helps to take away some of the more shrill sounds and things like that. But this version is great because the airflow is incredible. Not only do you get the choice of having those same panels if you really want to close everything off, maybe you're not doing something that's going to produce a lot of heat, but if you are going to be using like a 4090, a 14900K, something that produces a tremendous amount of heat, you have a lot of flexibility in terms of the actual mesh panels that you can put on the front. You can make it all mesh for good airflow on the top, so that way air could be coming in on every single side of the case, and you can do a proper airflow setup. And of course, it does come with the awesome Be Quiet fans as well. You're going to see them on the front. You can put them on top, in the back, anywhere that you really want, depending on how you do your your setup. Usually people will put maybe the AIO on top, and maybe the front fans will be having fresh air come in, so it's going to hit the GPU, and then the air will rise up and go out the back. So that's going to be a tremendous flexibility of this case, is definitely the airflow. And with more airflow, you can actually keep it quiet, especially with these fans. You run them at a low RPM, you're going to have enough airflow coming in through the case itself that you're not going to have to ramp up the fans very high, and it's going to keep everything nice and quiet, kind of owing to the name Be Quiet. And then the fourth thing that I like, it kind of puts everything into perspective, is the build quality. A lot of cases just are not built this well. You have a lot of very high quality components. Even the glass itself and the side panels feel very dense, very high quality. Obviously, it makes the case very heavy. It's not something you can easily move around, but any large case that has high build quality is going to be like that. This is a showpiece for like a large build. It's not something you're going to bring to like a LAN party or something like that. So that's definitely going to be a plus, because you already know you're getting a large case. You want it to be built really well, and every single panel snaps into place very, very nicely. And then obviously the fifth thing that I like about this case, it's going to be all the little nifty extras that usually you don't get in a different case. We already spoke about the interchangeable panels. You can also invert the motherboard in this case. If you want to have basically an inverted build with the motherboard upside down, you can do that as well. And then another feature that's pretty quirky is that you can charge your phone on top of the case. It actually has a little wireless Qi charger on top. You can put your phone right on top wirelessly, and it's going to charge it. I mean, obviously that's not something that most people look for in the case, but if you have it, really cool to show off, and it's really practical. I've used it a lot, even on the previous 901 build that I did. Just put your phone up there and it charges it. It's actually a nifty little feature. And then of course, other little quirky or very functional functional things, I should say, that it comes with. On that same front panel, you can change the fan curve, you can change the RGB lighting, as well as on your motherboard if you connect it, but you can change it just at a push of a button on the front. It does come with a fan controller in the back, so that way you don't have to plug everything into different places on your motherboard. You can control the fan speed, especially what I like to do if I'm using the front fans, for example, just for airflow. I like to control those with just the case. I'll put it on the lowest setting. If for some reason I need a little more airflow, I'll just kind of hit the button, and it's very easy. It's even faster than having to go into software or something like that. And then for things like the AIO, I'll just tie that to the CPU temperature on the motherboard. So that's overall a very, very nifty feature to have. And then obviously you could also do like a vertical GPU inside instead of horizontal. It has the little spacing for that. You just have to get the PCIe, extension cable. So this case is definitely very, very flexible, looks really good, looks really high end, and especially in this white color is a very, very beautiful case. I'm also going to be taking a look at the smaller 701 case if you want something with a similar build quality, maybe a few less features, but that just has a little bit of a smaller footprint. Overall, this Dark Base 901, it's a very high-end case. If you get past the large size, which is really the only drawback if you're not into something that's big, everything else is pretty spectacular on this case, from the airflow to the build quality to the design as well. Alright guys, so remember to subscribe, smash that like button, and I'll see you guys on the next video.